are tuned into the Lion's Den, official source of UCCS Sports. We got a lot to cover here on today's broadcast. We're going to start with the women's basketball team who went on the road and went 1-1 against CSU Pueblo and Western State. A great weekend for the Mountain Lions as a whole. And in January, they're still doing fantastic. I mean, we're talking about a 10-2 record in the year of 2016. Unfortunately, couldn't get the win on Friday night against CSU Pueblo, but at the moment, currently a great record. As you see right there, Mountain Lions in contention right now to host their first round playoff game. In just a few weeks, playoffs are going to get underway, and so they're really looking to make that push as we enter the final stretch. But let's go ahead and get to our expert analyst, Benedict Botnick here. Mr. Benedict Botnick, let's go ahead and talk a little bit. No, at least not till the end of this show.
You're right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the women's basketball team. A close game against CSU Pueblo on Friday night. Unfortunately, couldn't come away with the win. What did you see on Friday night from the Mountain Lions, and why weren't they able to solidify the victory at the Masari Arena?
You know, the Mountain Lions, they had a chance the final minute. You know, they had a good shot at the end to tie it with 3. You know, Jenna Knoffel took that shot. Fortunately, didn't hit it. But, you know, what impressed me the most with Friday, and it was the post players. And got a chance to talk to head coach Sean Nelson. Said that Mia Carter and Shayna Leaf really took over that game. They played very well. Shayna Leaf had a team-high 13 points. You know, the post has become a big threat for the Mountain Lions, and you saw it well against CSU Pueblo. It just couldn't – they just didn't have that momentum that they usually had. Started a little lackluster in the first half, really first quarter. And, you know, just couldn't get the win there. And, you know, that's a tough place to play. That environment, it was, you know, like you said, Red Out Night. It is a tough place to play when that crowd is on fire. And, you know, I think might have got a little bit of the best of them.
They're giving out T-shirts.
Well, yeah, and our own expert analyst here is taking them. So, yeah, apparently we got a lot of energy going on in the Masari Arena. They really fed in to the Thunderwolves' ability to close down that matchup. Tough finish, though. I got to tell you, final sequence, if you recall, Gabby Ramirez bringing the ball up. She had a good look, but kicked it off to a more open shot. Didn't go down, though.
And that was one of the points I was going to make, is that Jenna Knoffel, I don't want to put her on blast here, but she was 2 of 11 from downtown.
And she's a great shooter, just an off night.
And we all know that, so it's not anything personal. But, I mean, freshmen have stepped up this year. Just a game where they were not hitting. And like we said, the Masari Arena, that's a tough place to play. And that's her first time going there. And only playing them once is kind of a tough loss. But the Mountain Lions only shot 17% from downtown, so that doesn't help any either. But the next night wasn't so much better.
One possession lost there, 64-61 was the final result. A good team, though, 18-4, 13-3 in the RMAC are the Thunderwolves. So it's not like they were a give-me win by any means. That was a tough matchup in a tough arena with a tough crowd, and the Mountain Lions couldn't quite close it down. But like you mentioned, Sauce, the next night they bounced back with a great win over Western State. Charlie, what did you see on Saturday night? What was the difference from Friday night to Saturday night? Other than the opponent, obviously, but what were the Mountain Lions doing a little bit differently, which helped propel them to victory?
Well, the second night was a different night, different team, different everything. You know, Mountain Lions need to get defensive rebounds. Head coach Sean Nelson talks about it all the time, and that's what they did. Tori Fisher tied her season high, 22 points, 11 rebounds.
Double-double.
Didn't even play the first quarter. Played only 3 quarters in that game. Got 22 points. Talked to her after. You know, she was really excited for that game. And then Jen Vigil, 22 points also. You know, the team, they didn't shoot as well in the 3-point, but Jen Vigil single-handedly, you know, was a big factor of that game, you know, and she has been stepping up. And also, Shayna Leaf and Shannon Kelly, it was that upperclassmen, you know, they had 5 upperclassmen in the 3rd and 4th quarter that they ran with, I believe, the whole 4th quarter. It was Gabby Ramirez, Shannon Kelly, Shayna Leaf, Tori Fisher, and Jen Vigil. And, you know, that team just rolled, and they got some momentum, and they really finished that one off really well. And, you know, that gym also, a hard gym to play in. You know, our SID, Jared Werner, used to work in that gym, and he said, be careful because that crowd will get loud. And, you know, we saw it at the women's game. We also saw it at the men's game.
Well, we're going to talk about what happened at the men's game coming up after break. But, Sauce, let me get your take on the women's game on Saturday night in that 9-point victory against Western State, 70-61. What happened? What did you see?
Don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we know not the greatest shot appearance there, 19% from downtown. Half the shots were taken from behind the arc. They shot 36 threes, 70 total shots.
That's a lot of threes.
On the night. And it's, you know, I mean, they're a team that can hit them. And what I take from this is that obviously, Brittany Hernandez, she is, you know, she had a decent game, but if she's at full flex, I think they're fine. A lot of players are stepping up, so good things to come for for the women's team.
Well, and as Charlie mentioned earlier, in Bang Bang's best, Shannon Kelly, the RMAC Defensive Player of the Week. So we talked a little bit about her. We talked a little bit about Jen Vigil. What do those two ladies have in common?
You know,
They were guests on the Lions Den.
The
Charlie,
guests.
that's
The
what
Lions.
they
Oh,
have
yeah,
in
she
common. No, Charlie,
Yes,
she
my
wasn't
bad.
on the show.
You're
But
right.
Jen Vigil was, and Shannon Kelly was, and they are doing phenomenal. You know what we call that? The Lions Den bump. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have a couple more basketball stars right now that are about to get the bump because Alex Walsh, Dalton Patton in the studio. They're going to join us right after this break to get some of that action. They want the bump too. We're going to be talking about quite a few things, and a little Beat the Broadcaster action is going down right here on the Lions Den. If you're not tuned in, you're missing out. And if you got questions, tweet us at Go Mountain Lions. We'll be back right after this.